Dear student, today we will discuss DNA replication. So DNA replication is the process of creating new copy of DNA, or it is the mechanism of DNA duplication. So replication is a biochemical process in which the DNA molecule produces its identical copies during S phase of cell division. Therefore, it is essential process before cell division. Now let's look at the biochemistry of DNA replication. DNA is double helix structure in which two strands are held together by weak hydrogen bond. During replication, the hydrogen bond between them breaks and two strands are separated. See, when the two strands of DNA are separated, we also say this is denaturation. Okay, so these are the terms that we are using. Each separated strand now acts as a template against which a complementary new strand could be synthesized. Therefore, new daughter DNA is formed which will have one parental and one new strand. This mode of replication in which half of the original DNA or parent molecule DNA is conserved and the complementary half is newly synthesized by base pairing is called semi-conservative mode of replication. Now, this semi-conservative mode of replication actually was first proposed by Watson and Crick when they have discovered the double helix structure of DNA. But here comes the experimental proof with the Michelson and Stahl. Matthews, Michelson and Franklin Stahl. In 1957, they did experiment with the aim that replication of DNA is semi-conservative. So let's see how they have done their experiment. They have done the experiment with bacteria E. coli and whose DNA was labeled. The DNA of the E. coli was labeled with N15. N stands for nitrogen. N15 is the radioisotope of nitrogen. N14 is a normal nitrogen. The nitrogen labels nitrogenous base in DNA, and nitrogen was incorporated in synthetic media as ammonium chloride. So where the culture of E. coli was grown, there the ammonium chloride was supplied as one of the ingredient in the culture medium. So the bacteria which were growing, they will take up the nitrogen source ammonium from ammonium chloride, and this nitrogen is actually incorporated in DNA so that they can check for the labeling in the DNA. Now N15 is the heavy isotope of nitrogen, so the DNA containing N15 will form high density band during density gradient centrifugation based on cesium chloride, and this gradient centrifugation is used to identify the heavy DNA from the normal one. N14 is light isotope of nitrogen, so form light density band. Now let's see the experiment. So first the E. coli cells were grown on ammonium chloride. Here the nitrogen was labeled with N15 for many generations. Now why it is done for many generations? So that all the DNA which is present, it's all double strand DNA which is present in E. coli, they all will have N15 labeling. Now after this was done, they have to ensure. So what was done? From the E. coli cells, the DNA was taken out and it was analyzed with the density gradient centrifugation. Now this first E. coli which were labeled with N15 are known as parent, you can say, generation of E. coli, and you can see that they were all labeled with N15. So on the day, once you do the gradient centrifugation, you will see the DNA band of heavy density. Now what was the next step? These culture were now transferred to N14 medium. Okay, now the E. coli cells over here are only grown for one generation. The E. coli dividing time is 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes the cell divide. So once you transfer from N15 to N14, just after 20 minutes, you just isolate the E. coli cells and subject them to density gradient centrifugation, and analysis was done. So over here what happened? Hybrid DNA was obtained. Okay, the DNA contained both N15 and N14. You can say nitrogen labeling. Now what was done? The third step. This is called first generation, parent and then first. Now in second generation, after 20 minutes from this, okay, the E. coli will continue to grow on N15, or you can say after this was 20 minutes, so 20 plus 20, 40 minutes. After 40 minutes again the cells, E. coli cells were isolated and subjected to density gradient, you can say centrifugation, and the DNA was analyzed. So what was observed, that 50% hybrid and 50% light density DNA was obtained. You can see, so light, it will be situated at upper, the band will be situated at upper. This was heavy, so band was situated below. Okay, because N15 has high molecular weight as compared to N15, and hybrid band was seen. Okay, now the next is third generation. So after 60 minutes the E. coli continue to grow on N14 medium, and after 16 minutes the cells were isolated and DNA was analyzed. So what was seen, that in the last time it was seen that 50% hybrid, 50% N15. Now here the percentage of N14 increases by 75% and hybrid was 25%. So N14 concentration increases, means the one which are synthesizing new DNA, they are incorporating N14 from the medium. Now if you look at the experiment result analysis, so parent, they were, if you see N15 was there, okay, and if you look at just N14 band, it was located like this. Okay, then first generation, these are actually used as a standard to compare the experimental, so that's why N14 was also taken. Now in first generation you will find these strands act as a template, new are synthesized. So N15 was acting as a parental strand, and a new strand that were added were of N14, so you'll get a hybrid band. In second generation, here one N14 and one N15 you can say strands are acting as a template, and on which N14, which is the new one, are synthesized. So you will see N14 and N14 and 15, that is hybrid, and N14 50%. So in third generation subsequently N14 concentration increases because the DNA incorporate N14 which is present in the medium. N15 is not present in the medium, so it will not be present. So what was the conclusion? The DNA strands serve as template for their own replication. Okay, so this was as predicted by Watson and Crick, and at the end the conclusion was same, that it is they follow the semi-conservative mode of replication. Now let's look at the process of replication. So replication is catalyzed by number of enzymes. It is a biochemical process. The enzyme perform the task with high degree of accuracy. If there is any wrong base pairing or anything which goes wrong, so there are provision of the correction. So they perform this with high degree of accuracy. The deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates serve as dual function. They act as a substrate for the monomer in the polymerization reaction catalyzed by DNA polymerase, and they also act as a source of energy because the replication process requires the energy. We will see how the DNA replication slightly varies in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. First difference is the difference of the enzyme DNA polymerase. Like in prokaryotes there are 3 different DNA polymerases, whereas in eukaryote there is only one DNA polymerase. So first I'll just brief you the overall process, then we will discuss each step. So steps of DNA replication, here there are main you can say 4 or 5 steps: activation, initiation, elongation, editing and proofreading, and termination. So in activation, what happens? The deoxyribonucleotide monophosphate, they are activated so that they are ready to be used in the process of replication, and during the activation they are converted from the monophosphate to triphosphate forms. Then initiation has several things to go on. First is the recognition of initiation point. Now from the old DNA, whether it's a prokaryotic or eukaryotic, where the replication has to start, so that point is called origin of replication. So here with the pink mark you can see there are different enzymes which are involved in these processes. Okay. Now unwinding of DNA means the 2 strands of DNA are separated, and how this is possible? Just by breaking the hydrogen bond which is present between the adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine. The next is the priming, that is formation of RNA primer takes place on DNA template, because DNA polymerase which catalyzes the polymerization is unable to do polymerization directly on DNA strand. So first RNA primer is synthesized, then from the RNA primer it will start its work. Then conversion of triphosphate to diphosphate. So stage come when these activated triphosphates are used, their energy is used, and monophosphate forms are added to the template, and the diphosphates are removed, or you can say released. Then elongation is a process in which the 1 by 1 nucleotide is adding, which is complementary to the template strand, and new strand is synthesized, and this is catalyzed by the enzyme DNA polymerase. We'll see all what is the role of DNA ligase. Then editing and proofreading, again catalyzed by DNA polymerase, and in the opposite direction also it carry out the proofreading activity. Then termination occur where the 2 replication fork meet. Okay, if you look at the elongation step, then you will come to the point. During the DNA replication, one strand which is formed is the continuous strand, which is called leading strand, and the other strand which formed is the lagging strand. So this is called discontinuous strand. Now termination occur where 2 replication fork meet. Now circular, you can say DNA, which is usually present in prokaryotes. Now at a point the replication begins and it proceeds in both the directions. So we say it is bidirectional, but it occurs in 5, but the base pairs are added in 5-3- direction. Okay. So then 2 strands of DNA are separated and then newly synthesized. Okay. So now we will see the detailed process. So we'll continue in part 2. Thank you.